welcome to my YouTube channel. In this first video, we are going to solve the exercise problems of Unit 1 Electrostatics from 12th Standard Physics. So without any further delay, let's start solving the first question now. When two objects are rubbed with each other, approximately a charge of 50 nanocoulomb can be produced in each object. We are asked to calculate the number of electrons that must be transferred to produce this charge. So the given data Q is equal to 50 nanocoulombs. For nano it's 10 to the power minus 9. So Q is equal to 50 into 10 to the power minus 9 coulomb. When we rub two objects, these two objects acquire 50 nanocoulomb of charge. This happens due to the transfer of electrons from one object to the other object. If we assume that the electrons are transferred from this object to this object, then this object acquires plus 50 nanocoulomb of charge and this object acquires minus 50 nanocoulomb of charge. Now we are asked to calculate the number of electrons that have transferred from this object to this object such that the charge acquired by these two objects are plus 50 nanocoulomb and minus 50 nanocoulomb. So we can start solving the question now. So we are asked to find n, that is number of electrons transferred. The number of electrons transferred can be found using the formula Q is equal to Ne. Here E is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, which is the magnitude of one charge here. This value of E was found by Robert Millikan. So we start solving this equation with the value of Q and E here. So 50 into 10 to the power minus 9 coulomb, which is equal to N into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. To find N, we bring 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb to the denominator. So N is equal to 50 into 10 to the power 9 coulomb divided by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. 50 divided by 1.6 is 31.25 and we are left with 10 to the power minus 9 here, and when 10 to the power minus 19 comes to the numerator, it gets converted to 10 to the power plus 19. On solving them, we get N is equal to 31.25 into 10 to the power 10 electrons. That is 31.25 into 10 to the power 10 electrons have transferred from this object to this object. Now we shall start solving the second question. The total number of electrons in the human body is typically in the order of 10 to the power 28. So it is given in a human body there are 10 to the power 28 electrons. Suppose due to some reason you and your friends have lost 1% of this number of electrons. So it is given that we have lost 1% of the total number given. N is equal to 10 to the power 28 initially, and we lost 1%, that is 1 by 100. So that now we have 10 to the power 28 into 10 to the power minus 2, which is equal to 10 to the power 26 electrons left with me and my friend. So N is equal to 10 to the power 26, and we are asked to calculate the electrostatic force between you and your friend separated at a distance of 1 meter. So we both are separated with a distance of 1 meter with 10 to the power 26 number of electrons each. We are asked to calculate the electrostatic force Fe between each other. So electrostatic force Fe, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by R square. We know the distance and the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now we are going to find the charge Q1 and Q2, that is the charge Q1 in me and the charge Q2 with my friend. Q1 which is equal to, so N is given 10 to the power 26 into the value of E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So we have Q1 is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 coulomb. The charge in me is 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 coulomb, and the charge in my front is same 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 coulomb. Why? Because we both had same amount of charge initially and we lost same amount of charge such that we have same number of electrons. So Fe is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 to the power 9, and solving for Q1 and Q2, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 the whole square divided by r square is nothing but 1 square. Is the distance between us, so 1 square. On solving this, we get 9 into 10 to the power 9 into 1.6 square into 10 to the power 14. We get 23.04 into 10 to the power 23 Newton is the electrostatic force between us. And it is also given, compare this with your weight. Weight can be calculated by the gravitational force acting on the body, whose formula is equal to mass into the acceleration due to gravity, that is small g. It is given, assume mass of each person is 60 kg. So the mass m is 60 kg into the acceleration due to gravity g. The value is 9.8. So it's 9.8 meter second minus 2. So on multiplying them, we get 588 kilogram meter second minus 2, which is nothing but Newton. So this is the weight, which is the gravitational force acting on the body. So we have the electrostatic force and the weight. Now we shall compare it by finding the ratio between them. So Fe divided by W, which is equal to 23.04 into 10 to the power 23 divided by 588. We get the answer 3.9 into 10 to the power 21. We have compared the electrostatic force with the gravitational force acting on the body, which is nothing but weight. So in the third question, 5 identical charges capital Q are placed equidistant on a semicircle as shown in the figure. Another point charge small q is kept at the center of the circle of radius capital R. See, I have kept the capital Q charges. There are 5 capital Q charges which are kept at equidistance on a semicircle, and the small q charge is kept at the center with radius R. And we are asked to calculate the electrostatic force experienced by the charge q. So due to all these capital Q charges, the small q charges experiences an electrostatic force. We are asked to calculate that electrostatic force. So we shall start solving from this capital Q charge. See, all the charges are positive here. So all these 5 charges will cause a repulsive force on this small q charge. So even this capital Q charge will cause a repulsive force on the small q charge. So it will repel such that the force is along minus y direction due to this charge. So due to this capital Q charge, the small q charge experiences a force in the direction of minus y, and on the other hand there is a capital Q charge here which causes a force on the small q charge, which is a repulsive force along the direction plus y direction. So see, they are of equal magnitude and opposite direction such that the forces get cancelled out. So the net force due to the capital Q charge here and the capital Q charge here is 0. So only these 3 charges causes the force on the small q charge. Now we shall calculate the force on small q charge due to this capital Q charge here. We shall consider it as F1. See, they are at the distance R such that the force is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the charge, the two charges q1 q2 are capital Q and small q here, so capital Q into small q divided by the distances r, so r square. This is along the direction x direction whose unit vector is I cap, so I have written it I cap here. Now we will start calculating the force due to this charge. See, I will draw a diagram, simplified diagram here. See, the charge is here and the small q charge is here, which will experiences a force along this direction. The force is along this direction, and you may note that the x-axis is here and minus y-axis is here. See, the force has two components now. Here, this is theta, so here this is also theta. The two components are cos component and sine component. Most of the students used to confuse in this cos and sine component. I will give you a shortcut here. See, here is theta given, so this is cos component, f cos theta, and here there is no theta, so this is the sine component, that is f sine theta. So this is the sine component. So force due to this charge is simplified to two components as f cos theta and f sine theta. And one more charge is here, the charge here. So the charge here will cause a force on the small q charge here, which will experiences a force along this direction. So it will repel along this direction. The force F is here. You understood? And this is F1 due to this charge, and let it be F2 due to the charge down here. Okay. So here you may note that this is theta. So here this angle is theta, such that this force can be resolved to two component. I will draw it here. For F2 can be resolved to two component, along x component, along y component and x component. So here is the theta. So theta is here. So this is F2 cos component, cos theta, and there is no theta, such that this is F2 sine component. You may note that, see, there is one more f sine theta component here. See, there is one more f sine theta component, such that they are of equal magnitude and in opposite direction, so they cancel out. So there is no sine theta component, that is, there is no y component at all. See, here there is f2 cos theta, and one more f1 cos theta is also here, f1 cos theta. So f2 cos theta acts along the I cap direction, and also there is f1 cos theta that acts along the I cap direction. So there are two cos components. So the force due to this charge, let it be F2, which is equal to F2 cos theta, and force due to this charge, let it be F1. So F1 is equal to F1 cos theta. This is along I cap direction, and this is also along I cap direction. So you may note that all the three forces are along the I cap direction, such that the charge small q will move along the I cap direction, will experiences a force along the I cap direction. And we shall start solving this problem. The net force F net is equal to F1, that is given here, plus F2, that is given here, F2, plus, okay, I have given it here, I will consider this as F0. So F0 and F2 plus F1. I have considered this as F0, such that F0 plus F2 plus F1. We just have to add all the forces, that's all. I have added all the forces. So I will substitute the values here. See, for F0 it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square I cap. And for F2, see, for F2 cos theta I cap. What is F2 here? See, you may note that the F2 is nothing but the force due to these two charges, right? This charge and this charge. The distance is r, and similarly the two charges are capital Q and small q. So plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q into small q divided by r square, and there is a cos theta, so cos theta I cap. And for F1, that is the force due to the third charge here. See, this is also in the distance capital R, such that the two charges are capital Q and small q. So the force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q divided. Now we are going to find the value of theta now. See, we shall give a guess here. See, theta is equal everywhere. This theta is equal to this theta. See, so we shall know this angle is 90 degree. See, this theta splits this 90 degree to 2, such that this theta has to be 45 degree. So substitute 45 degree, cos 45 degree here, and take 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into capital Q into small q divided by r square as common everywhere. I have taken it out and I have written it. So there is I cap remaining, I cap plus, I have substituting theta is equal to 45 degree. I will use a shortcut method here. Cos 0, cos 30, cos 45 degree, root 2 divided by 2, which is 1 by root 2. Yeah.
If you want to learn this shortcut method of finding values for sine and cos theta, you can use the link given in the description, which will take you to another video in my channel.
So cos 45 degree is 1 by root 2. I have substituted 1 by root 2 into I, and here this term is common. I have taken out, and for cos theta, cos 45 degree, I have written 1 by root 2 into I here. And now 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square I cap plus 1 by root 2 I plus 1 by root 2 I is root 2 I. See, I have solved here 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2. I have taken root 2 as I have taken LCM. Root 2 divided by 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 by root 2, we can split this 2 as root 2 into root 2. So 1 root 2 cancel. So root 2 is remaining, that is root 2 I here. So the net force experienced by this small q charge here due to the 5 identical capital Q charges is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into capital Q dot small q divided by r square into 1 plus root 2 along the I cap direction. So in the fourth question, suppose a charge plus q on Earth's surface and another charge plus q is placed on the surface of the moon. Calculate the value of q required to balance the gravitational attraction between the Earth and the moon. So see, charge plus q is in Earth and another charge plus q is in the moon. So they have asked us to calculate the value of q such that it overcomes the gravitational attraction between the Earth and the moon. So the force of gravitational attraction is g into m1 m2 divided by r square, and the force and the electrostatic force Fe is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 divided by r square. You may note that to overcome this gravitational attraction, the force of electrostatic attraction has to be equal to the force due to gravitation, that is g into m1 m2 by r square should be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r square. So they have asked us to calculate this q. You may note that they both are the same charges, plus q and plus q. So g is equal to m1 is nothing but the mass of Earth into m2 is mass of moon divided by r square is the distance of separation between them. So r square, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Since the charges are equal, plus q and plus q, so q square divided by r square. We can cancel this r square. So to find q square, we shall bring this 4 pi epsilon to the left hand side. It comes to the numerator. So q square is equal to capital G into mass of earth into mass of moon into 4 pi epsilon naught. That's all. There's nothing in the denominator. And so q square is equal to, substituting the value for G, M, E, M, M and 4 pi epsilon naught. See, here it is given for gravitational constant G. We should have known that it is 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 11 into mass of earth is 5.9 into 10 to the power 24 kilogram, which is given here, and mass of moon is 7.9 into 10 to the power 22 kilograms. You should note that we know the value for 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. See, I will write it here. Value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9. Then the value of 4 pi epsilon naught is, see, we will bring this 4 pi epsilon naught to the right hand side and bring this 9 into 10 to the power 9 to the left hand side. 9 into 10 to the power 9 is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught. The value of 4 pi epsilon naught is 1 divided by 9 into 10 to the power 9. So for solving for q square, we will get 34.12 into 10 to the power 26 coulomb. So we will take square root. Q is equal to square root of 34.12 into 10 to the power 26 coulomb is 5.8 into 10 to the power 13 coulomb. So the charge required to balance the gravitational attraction between the earth and the moon is 5.8 into 10 to the power 13 coulomb. We found it. And it is also asked that, suppose the distance between the moon and the earth is halved, would the charge q change? They have asked, the moon is brought here, that is the distance is halved. Should we change the value of q to overcome the gravitational attraction? They have asked here. So you may note that the formula for q is independent of r. Is there any r? See, it is independent of r. See, for question B, the charge q is independent of the term r, that is the distance between them. So q has no change. Whatever the distance between the earth and the moon may be, to overcome the gravitational attraction, the charge required is q is equal to 5.8 into 10 to the power 13 coulomb. In the fifth question, they have asked us to draw the free body diagram for the following charges as shown in the figure A, B and C. See, in the figure A, the charge plus q is given. I don't know whether you are able to notice or not, so I will draw it here. See, this is the charge plus q here. See, it is attached to a spring and it is kept on a smooth surface, and also the electric field is along this direction, which means the electric field is along this direction. Okay, so they have asked us to calculate the free body diagram. In the free body diagram, we have to, in the free body diagram, which we call it as FBD, we have to show all the direction of forces acting on this particle, charged particle, plus acting on this charged particle. So let it be the charged particle. See, the electric field is along this direction such that the charge plus q also moves along the direction of the electric field. If it was minus, it moves in the direction opposite to the electric field. Here it is plus, such that it experiences a force along the direction of the electric field. The force F is equal to q into E. So the force here is q into E, that is the charge plus q charge into the electric field E, which is the force experienced. And here is this direction, which is the gravitational force m into g, which pulls it downwards. So in this direction the gravitational force is acting. Due to this smooth surface which overcomes the gravitational pull, which is the normal force acting on the charged particle by the floor. So this is the direction for the normal force, that is N. And one more force due to the spring. The force due to spring is F is equal to minus kx, where this k is called as spring constant. So this is along this direction, so minus kx. This is the free body diagram for the question A. For question B, there are two plates with one plate positively charged and the other plate is negatively charged, and a charge plus q is attached with a string. The charge plus q is attached with a string, and they have asked us to draw the free body diagram. See, I'll draw it here. The charge plus q is here. See, the electric field lines travels from positive plate to the negative plate, so it is in this direction. The electric field is along this direction. We know that the charge plus q travels along the direction of the along the direction of the electric field. So in the direction of the electric field, the charge plus q experiences a force F is equal to q into E. Here the charge is plus q, so using this formula, plus q into E is the force experienced due to the electric field. And due to the gravitation, the charge plus q experiences a gravitational force in this direction, so mg. You may also note that due to this thread, it experiences a tension force T along this direction. It is tied to a thread. The tension force is acting along this direction. So this is the free body diagram for question B. And for question C, it is given here there is a positive plate and here there is a negative plate, and here there is a negative charge given. So as we discussed before, the electric field of lines travels from positive to the negative plate, and it starts from positive and it terminates at the negative. This is the property of electric field. And here there is minus q charge such that it moves in the opposite direction of electric field. So see, the free body diagram FBD is given here. Here is the minus q charge. It travels in the opposite direction of electric field. So the electric field is in this direction. It travels in the opposite direction and experiences a force q into E, that is F is equal to QE, and it also experiences the gravitational force along downwards direction, that is mg. So this is the minus q charge. So this is the free body diagram for third question. Question number 6. Consider an electron traveling with a speed v0 and entering into a uniform electric field E with a perpendicular, which is perpendicular to v0 vector as shown in the figure. So it is given in the figure that the electron minus q charge is entering into the uniform electric field. See, the electric field is from plus to minus, plus plate to minus plate. It is also given the velocity is perpendicular to the electric field. The velocity, since the electric field is along y direction, so the velocity is along like x direction. The initial velocity is along x direction. And you may note that it travels like a projectile. Why? Because the negative charges get attracted by this positive plate. We also know that the negative charges move in the opposite direction to the electric field. Since electric field is in this direction, it tends to move along this downward direction with its initial velocity such that they acquire a projectile motion like this. Okay, I hope you understood the problem, and now we shall try to solve the questions that is asked. Ignoring gravity, obtain the electron's acceleration. We are asked to find the acceleration, velocity and the position as a function of time. Okay, fine. So first, let's find the acceleration here. To find acceleration, when the force experienced by this negative charge, we know the force experienced by this negative charge F is equal to minus E. Minus E is the charge of the electron into capital E is the electric field. Since we know the formula F is equal to QE, Q is nothing but here minus E and the electric field E. And we also know that force is equal to mass into acceleration. And here the acceleration is equal to minus E into E. The electric field is along j cap direction. See, it's along j cap direction. So I have written j cap here. I have mentioned the direction, that's all. So to find the acceleration, A vector, which is equal to, we'll bring this m here, minus E into capital E divided by m along j cap direction. So this is the acceleration which they have asked. And we are also asked to find the velocity. To find velocity, since this is an uniform electric field, the particle experience constant acceleration, such that we can use this formula from kinematics. V is equal to u plus at. So here this small u is nothing but the initial velocity. So the velocity v vector is equal to, the initial velocity is given as v naught here. So v naught along I cap direction. Since we know the velocity is perpendicular to the electric field, so this is along x direction, that is I cap direction, plus acceleration, we have found it here to be minus E into capital E divided by m, into t is here t, and this is along j cap direction. In acceleration there is j cap, so j cap direction. So the velocity vector v is equal to v naught I cap minus, plus into minus is minus, E by m t along j cap direction. So this is the velocity, and the last one is position. To find the position, we can also use the kinematic equation here. S is equal to ut plus half at square here. See, u is the initial velocity which we know, v naught along the I cap direction. So v naught I cap into t is here. So t plus half into, for a we will substitute minus E capital E divided by m along j cap direction into t square is there. So t square. So the position S is equal to v naught t I cap plus, so plus into minus is minus, so minus 1 by 2 small e into capital E divided by m t square along the j cap direction. So this is the position. So we have found the acceleration, velocity and position as the function of time. In the 7th question, a closed triangular box is kept in an electric field of magnitude E is equal to 2 into 10 to the power 3 Newton Coulomb minus 1. So see, the electric field E is equal to 2 into 10 to the power 3 Newton Coulomb inverse, and they have asked us to find the electric flux through the vertical triangular surface. See, in a triangular box which is given as such, this is the triangular box, the vertical surface is here. See, which we are not able to see. So the vertical surface is the side which is not visible here. The vertical surface, to find the electric flux through the vertical surface, closed integral E dot dA, which is equal to 2 into 10 to the power 3. So we know the value of E, that is 2 into 10 to the power 3, and the closed integral of dA. So we have to find the area for this vertical surface. So we know the length of this vertical surface is 50 centimeter and the breadth is 5 centimeter given. The area is calculated by 15 into 5, length into breadth, centimeter square. And for electric field, the unit is Newton Coulomb minus 1. And 2 into 10 to the power 3, 15 into 5 is 75 centimeter square Newton Coulomb minus 1. We shall notice the unit is in centimeter square. In SI system, we should convert centimeter to meter. such that 1 centimeter is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter, and I have converted centimeter to meter. 10 to the power minus 2, there is a square, so 10 to the power minus 2 the whole square, meter square, Newton Coulomb minus 1. Now 2 into 10 to the power 3 into 75, I have squared this term, so minus 2 into 2 is 10 to the power minus 4, meter square, Newton Coulomb minus 1. And 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power minus 4, we get 10 to the power minus 1. So 2 into 75 into 10 to the power minus 1, meter square, Newton Coulomb minus 1. And 2 into 75 is 150 into 10 to the power minus 1, the unit of electric flux. And 150 into 10 to the power minus 1 is 15. We shall shift the decimal digit to the left hand side. So 15 meter square Newton Coulomb minus 1, which is the unit for flux. So the flux through the electric flux through the vertical surface, which is asked in part A, is 15 meter square Newton Coulomb minus 1. In part B, they have asked us to calculate the flux through the slanted surface, that is the slanting surface, which is shown here. To calculate the flux through the slanting surface, you shall note that in picture it is given the electric field lines that is passing through the vertical surface is coming through this slanting surface. You may note that there is no output of electric waves from any of the other surface, even this surface or the opposite surface and even the base surface. So the electric flux that is entering through the vertical surface comes out through the slanted surface, which means that all the electric fields that are entering through the vertical surface is coming out through the slanted surface. So the electric flux of the slanted surface is equal to 15 meter square Newton Coulomb minus 1 as well. See, in one condition the flux may change when there is a source, that is when there is a charge inside this triangular box. This source, that's a source for electric field such that the flux may vary. Or if you find any other way through which the electric fields are coming out, then the flux will vary through the slanting surface. Here the electric fields that are passing through the vertical surface is completely coming out through the slanted surface such that the flux is equal. And in part C, they have asked us to calculate the flux through entire surface. They have asked us to calculate the flux through the entire surface. To calculate the flux through this entire surface, there is no source charge inside such that the flux will be 0 across the entire surface. Here input flux is equal to output flux. So the flux through the entire surface is equal to 0. We have solved 7 problems in lecture 1. The remaining problems will be solved in the lecture 2. I hope you understood the problems. If you find any mistakes in my solution, you can let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.